We had another letter.
This is the follow-up. This is the follow-up show, isn't it?
This is the follow-up show, yeah, for sure.
There's an email.
We had an email, not a letter. I keep calling them letters because...
You're old school.
I am super old school. Although Bob pointed out to me that I'm not that old school because she asked me how much a stamp cost yesterday. And I went, 25p? And she laughed. I went, no, it's like, it's closer to £1 now.
But have you seen the lines outside post offices?
No, what's happening? Are people queuing?
Oh, massive queues.
Why?
Well, because you can't have more than, ours is a little post office, you can't have more than two people in it. And then so everyone's wanting to send their Christmas podcast specials to someone else on a hard drive. And the queues...
Because that's how podcasts are delivered.
We could, that would really help augment our audience, wouldn't it?
If we just send
physical copies.
An MP3 player to everyone we know. Welcome everybody to your Christmas special midlifing episode. Or minisode if you prefer.
So, to the email.
Yeah, this is from Sue Smith. She says, "Hello, Simon. Interesting she addresses it to you, not Simon and Lee."
Clearly, I'm the email person in the team.
It's because...
What do you do with this fucking email? Do you do...
I don't really do that
Except
much.
you cut me out of shit. That's all that happens.
I cut out all of the bits where you sound clever and leave you looking... Basically, I try to digitally leave you with your pants round your ankles while I am sitting reclining on a chair going, I'm erudite, I am sophisticated.
Derrida.
Hello, Simon. Really enjoying midlife. Do you think I was talking to you then?
Hi. Haven't we just been talking for an hour and a half?
Have you got amnesia?
Sorry, nearly 2 hours.
Hello, Simon. Really enjoying midlifing with you and Lee. The podcasts go so quickly because they are so absorbing. I have a question. Was there a point in your life when you felt proper grown up? Did a switch flick inside and then boom, you were a responsible adult? I ask because I'm midlife.
Wait, so she's asking both of us, right? Even though she's saying, hello, Simon.
Yeah, I think
it's not just for me to respond to this because that feels like some kind of responsibility.
That would be cruel to just ask you to respond to this.
Thank you.
She continues. I ask because I'm midlife, probably a bit past mid, and my sister and I have had a pretty rough few years caring for elderly parents. Dad died in September 2019 at home after being ill for a few years, and in the last year of his life, he had vascular dementia, so we lost him before he died, really. Mum has Alzheimer's, so she is changing too. We are caring for her at home as we did with Dad, but despite how hard it is, both Mandy and I are still quite young at heart, and we haven't let it change us as fun-loving people. And I think this, for me, is the kind of the key to the question that she's asking. We have friends who've been through similar, and they are worn down by their situation, which makes us think we haven't properly grown up yet. I hope this makes sense. It's hard to explain, but I'm wondering if other people get a sense of being grown up at a certain point in their life, and it's bypassed Mandy and me. And then there's a very smiley face emoji. Best wishes, Sue. So...
P.S. Simon, I prefer you to Lee. I think she also...
No, it says sent from my iPhone is what it says after the word Sue, so you're just making that bit.
Damn!
Because I do have it open in front of me. I think what's interesting about this is, the context of the deeply difficult things that they've been experiencing, losing one parent and... as she really eloquently says, losing him before he died, but also continuing to care for their mum at home who has Alzheimer's. So that sense of they're experiencing a double loss twice. So that context is...
I'm sorry. No. By the way, Sue did follow up with an email saying, you can say anything you like, and it would be also fine for you to joke about the situation. But also, I just love that she said Dad died. She did say I lost Dad. And I really just want to... I want to congratulate Sue for being direct when it comes to death.
And actually, she tells us he's died twice, as in the letter, in the email, she uses the word died. She hasn't used any euphemisms. What I find really interesting is the sense of it's not quite guilt, and I really like that it's not guilt, but the sense that...
Well, confusion almost.
Confusion that, well, should we have been brought low more than we have been? Which is not to suggest that they've not struggled. They're very clear in the fact
it's been
that they've
hard.
struggled. Yeah, really hard. But that they've still managed to hold on to a sense of lightness. And in the other email, the follow-up email that she sends, which I really like, which I think is really, really beautiful. She says, as we cared for Dad right through him dying, we found humour where we could with his hallucinations and the very odd conversations we had to have with him because he didn't recognise us. And this is the kicker for me. We got quite good at improv. I just think the self-awareness and the kindness to offer that to us, but also the kindness to offer that to themselves, for me, obviates any of the other concerns that they have, because I just
About
want
not
to go,
being adults yet.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what is more
grown
adult.
up. Sorry, grown up. Yeah. But you know what? It's so interesting you bring that up, because for me, that especially with people who are losing their memories, is that the desire to clamp them back into what was and what is powerful, right?
Yeah.
Which is so different from what Sue is describing, which is, well, this is where he went,
Yeah.
and let's go there.
Yeah.
And that so you're not holding on to the way you remember that person or what you think they should be talking about or what was true or accurate. You're swinging with them. To me, that is forgetting about whether it's grown up or not. I think there's something that is a beautiful act of love, because it's not doing what you want of them.
Yeah.
It's saying, this is where they are now. I'm running with that.
It strikes me that it is full of such grace to be able to, and I mean that in the kind of not gracefulness in a kind of,
here we are now.
Yeah, I'm gonna flow with this, because the alternative is what?
Yeah, but it's funny, isn't it? The grown up thing is, we've definitely talked about this before, which is that sort of sense that I was the runt of the litter. I think I described it as one time, and always that the youngest child. I think this is maybe it's quite true of other youngest children and families. I'm the youngest of four, where you're always in that position, or you assume that you're in that position. And I do remember years ago at work. I'd been given, or I'd taken on some kind of responsibility where I had to chair particular meetings, and I felt woefully ill-equipped to do this, I have to say. So I did not feel like I was the grown-up in the room, and really nervous. I was, definitely all sweaty, and there was a point about 3/4 of the way through this meeting. So it's a big meeting, long table. There would have been 20 people around the table. I was the one in saying, okay, let's move on to this. And this is this is the the agenda, whatever. And I remember looking down and, 3/4 of the way through and seeing that my fly was undone. I spent the entire, and then I had this great moment of trying to surreptitiously do my fly up at that point whilst chairing that, and I was trying to wonder which was the grown up part. When we, even though she says hello Simon, when I got Sue's email, that's the moment that came to mind, really, where that I do think that's life. I think life is when we are placed in circumstances that we are used to seeing other people in those circumstances, and then we adapt, and that just we just chip away at those things. But it doesn't mean that we are, I don't know here, but that doesn't mean that we suddenly are grown up in all situations, or that we take the same kind of responsibility in all situations. Yeah. It's a little bit like confidence, isn't it? It's like I can be extremely confident as a public speaker, which is, you might say is unusual, because most people it scares the shit out of them. But in another circumstance, I might have zero to no confidence. It's not like confidence is a generic state. And I think that's, with the death of parents, or when you're caring for people, whose mental health is really bad, or in the way in which Sue's describing. Wow, talk about how do you, how can you be prepared for that situation? I like these questions, but also there's a slightly kind of what are those kinds of newspaper columns where people write in with their sort of situations or problems, and that
Yeah, but
oh yes,
the people who respond have something useful and cogent to say, and we go, "Wow, that sounds hard."
Yes, so
God, you're good. We
email us
couldn't
at
do
the
that.
last two people in the world you'd ever want to respond to this at midlifing.net.
See, which is probably why we don't want feedback. We don't. we probably just need you to tell us how good we are, and then we can read them out. But
Fulsome praise.
yeah. But seriously, this is there was such an openness to the offer, but I do think reminding us of that kind of that internal external thing, because you see people coping, and you think, God, they've got it all together. And then, and then somebody asking the question from the inside going, oh, are we doing this wrong because we're not brought low? Are we doing this wrong because we are being playful and managing to find moments of lightness and joy in this? And, that sense of second guessing ourselves.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful offer Sue's given us as well, and also to everyone else listening. I think there's something really, I'm humbled, really, genuinely, by someone trusting our tangential mode of conversation, that they would trust us to. Maybe they're regretting it now.
Almost certainly, immediately thought, oh, why?
Oh, I want to reach down the internet and get that email back.
I wish that was possible.
Oh, wouldn't it be great? Yeah.
So, Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you.
Happy New Year, Simon.
And Happy New Year to you.
Hey, this Easter. Wow! It's a great second.
We could cover all the major religious holidays.
Absolutely. Oh, we've missed Diwali, haven't we?
Wow.
We just had that.
You are so switched on to cultural difference.
You know me. I'm all about
I think Hanukkah is the most recent one as well.
Yeah. Have you got your dreidel ready? I weirdly pointed over my shoulder as I said dreidel, as if there is a dreidel behind me.
And also as if you are not covered up by...
Exactly. Who am I gesturing over my shoulder to? Have you got your dreidel ready?
That's me turning away from my mic. That's that action. I have to do it all the time.
I only do that when I'm burping, which is quite a
love
lot.
that you really laugh openly into the mic, but I can't do it.
Why?
I feel ashamed.
Oh, but you've got such a lovely laugh. See, that's it. That's such a lovely laugh. Do you know, I won't lie to you. There have been more than one occasion. Oh, maybe I shouldn't tell you this because it'll make you self-conscious. I'm going to tell you anyway. There's been more than one occasion where I've clipped your laugh and then just repeated it every now and then because I think it's so lovely.
You've been duplicating my laugh.
But no, but I change it slightly so it doesn't just sound like going, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Just because sometimes you've done that like and held on to it and it's like, oh, I like the little
laugh.
giggles that you do. So I just stick them back in for you.
No.
I've only done that twice, but still.